There. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Jessica. My name is Haley, and I'm going to be your occupational therapist today for this session.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
It is really nice to meet you too. So, I understand that you have now had your bilateral amputation, and today we're going to take about 15 minutes to go over a few things to help you out at home. Um, this will include learning about some coping strategies you can utilize, assessing and managing the pain that you're experiencing, and going over a plan that you can use at home to keep track of your activity. Do you have any questions before we begin?
Um, would you like me to write anything down as we go along through the session to like keep in mind or
Yeah, actually, if you could just grab a pen or a pencil and then some paper, and I'm just going to have you write down some relevant information from today's activities. So I think we're going to use it about 2 or 3 times. So just enough paper for that.
Okay, perfect.
How's that?
Yes.
Okay. So to begin, I want to talk about some of the things that you can do to cope with having this bilateral amputation. So I understand that you have been having some feelings of anxiety and maybe some depression. Is that true?
Yeah. I definitely have been trying to keep a positive attitude with all of this, but it's definitely extremely difficult for me to see the bright side of things when going through this has limited me in so many ways.
Of course, that is more than understandable. Is there anything that you're doing right now to combat these feelings that you're experiencing?
To be honest, I mostly try to distract myself. I'll try to just, you know, stay active with my husband or like play card games with friends and family or, play with my dog. Um, but I definitely feel like I need other ways of dealing with the feelings of anxiety and depression.
Okay. Have you ever tried journaling before?
No, I haven't, but I feel like I'd definitely be willing to try it.
Awesome. So, journaling is a great place to start when you are feeling these intense feelings. And um, it can really help you put some things into perspective for yourself. So, I think using journaling as one of your coping strategies would allow you to take some time for yourself. And it would allow you to really reflect on some of these things that you're feeling instead of suppressing them by distracting yourself with playing cards or walking your dog. So now I would like you to take a minute and just write down some of the worries or some of the negative thoughts that you have been experiencing. So just take a minute, let me know when you've done that, and then we can talk a little bit about it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I have a few things that I wrote down.
Okay. Do you,
Um,
would you be willing to share those thoughts with me?
yeah, yep, I think that's okay. Uh,
Okay.
so I wrote down that I feel insecure about my appearance. Um, I don't feel, oh, well, I feel like everyone is staring at me a lot of the time because obviously I look a lot different than most people. And I don't really feel productive anymore in the things that I want to do at home and in the community.
Okay. First, thank you for sharing those thoughts with me. I really appreciate it. Um, they're all very valid things that you wrote down. How did it how did it feel writing them down on paper? I mean, now you can see them, you can read them. They're out of your head. How does it make you feel to actually write them down onto paper?
I think it's definitely difficult to acknowledge those feelings and really, um, like feel them instead of trying to just like push them away. Because those things, like, they don't make me feel very good about myself. But I think it was also good to get them out and try to face them because I'm never gonna like get past them if I don't.
Right. I think that is a really great realization that you just made. Um, and I'm really glad that it worked for you. I think that this could be a great coping strategy for you to use regularly when you notice that you are experiencing feelings of intense anxiety or depression. Um, Now I kind of want to talk a little bit about your experience with pain. So I have previously emailed to you a picture of the pain analog scale. So using this scale, I want you to identify how much pain you feel when engaging in a variety of activities. So using your pen and paper again, I want you to write down some activities that you typically engage in. These activities can be at home or out in the community. It's totally up to you. Just some things that you feel that you want to be able to engage in, but without experiencing levels of pain that you feel now. So just
Okay.
take a few and just write those down on paper for me.
Okay. Okay, so I picked two things that I do on a regular basis that are like pretty much like my top priorities right now,
Okay.
since I do them so much. So I picked cooking and book club as the book club I'm in is two things that I really want to engage in without experiencing pain.
Okay, great. So why don't we talk about cooking first? So on the visual analog pain scale, how would you rate your pain while you are cooking? Let's say if you were cooking standing using the stovetop.
Um, I think I would have to rate my pain as a 4 or a 5 because it gets uncomfortable and really tiring with my prosthetics to be standing at the stove for elongated periods of time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, because your pain is uncomfortable and it's tiring, I think it might be beneficial for you to have a chair or maybe a stool nearby so that it allows you to take a break while you're cooking. Um, you might also be able to get a higher stool so that when you sit, you're still able to engage. in cooking and you're able to see everything. You're able to have that reach
Okay.
that you might not have if you were sitting in like a regular chair or a stool. So a higher stool maybe would
Okay.
be beneficial for you if you want to be able to sit while you are cooking. Um, Now, how would you rate your pain using the same scale while you're at book club?
I think I'd say that my pain is a 2 or a 3 at book club, because the club is about an hour and a half. And so sitting in those chairs for that long in a single position causes a lot of stiffness and discomfort in my legs.
Okay. Have you tried taking short breaks during your book club?
No, I haven't, because like I've thought about it, but I don't want to like disrupt the atmosphere, and I don't want to make it a weird experience for everyone.
Okay. So one of the things that I would recommend would be taking those short breaks. I think if you were to talk to everyone in your book club in the beginning and say, hey, I think I just might need to take a few breaks during our session today just to get up and just stretch and just walk around. And then I think that if you talk to them about it, they might be, or they would be more than willing to just take a break, and then you'd be able to get that stretch that you need. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you could also just sit, and you could use some exercises like extending your legs so that you get the stretch that you need so that after that hour and a half book club you won't feel as tight as you normally would if you weren't doing these exercises.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely try those strategies at the next meeting, and I think, yeah, I think that they will probably understand. I've known these people for a long time now. Of course, it's just me like not wanting to inconvenience anyone, but I think I'll probably try both of those next time.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad that you do have a little bit of comfort being able to talk to the people in your book club about those things. It's really great that you have them there for that. Um, so finally, I want to talk to you about your HEP, which is your home exercise program that you will use to address the issues that we just discussed. So, to consistently and effectively address your feelings of depression and anxiety, I'm going to ask that you use journaling as your coping strategy at least 3 times a week or more if you feel that it would be beneficial to you. Do you have any questions about journaling as a coping strategy?
Um, Actually, yes. Is there a certain length of time that I should be spending on each entry?
I don't think that there is a specific amount of time that you should be spending, but I do think that I want you to be spending the time that you need to make sure that the entries are meaningful and helpful to your well-being. So if you're having a really bad day one day, I think it might be nice for you if you take a specific amount of time to really reflect on how you were feeling that day. But if you were having, a good day, maybe it would be easy to just talk about the things that you enjoyed that day, just to kind of keep your enthusiasm going along in that day.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is your pain that is experienced. So um, during the activities that you enjoy taking part in, I want you to utilize those techniques that we talked about earlier. So when you're cooking or when you're at book club, just remember the techniques that we talked about. And I also want you to keep a pain diary. So you will use this to document some of the pain that you've been feeling. So within the outline of the pain diary, you'll talk about your pain score 0 to 10, where the pain is and how it feels, what you were doing when the pain began, any medication that you have taken to relieve the pain, and any non-drug techniques that you might have tried, so those pain techniques that we talked about, and how long the pain lasted, and any other things that you feel are worth mentioning about your pain. This diary will help us keep track of your patterns of pain so it can be further addressed. Do you have any questions about managing your pain or about the pain diary?
Um, I think I think I'm all set. Yeah, I get that. It was thorough, so I think that'll help me really keep track of everything associated with my pain. So
Okay, that is great. I enjoyed this session with you, and I hope you use the tools that we talked about further.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.